has won the first day both times. Um, what was your mindset coming out of that last rotation?
I think the mindset that started at the very beginning of the meet was just we have to stay in our bubble. We have to do what we can do, control the controllables. And I think when we knew that we were going to have to make some lineup changes, it was very important to me that our ladies were confident. It didn't matter who stepped in, that we had really trained, rehearsed, practiced, all those things so that if this kind of a thing happened, we would be ready and prepared with confidence. Because one thing to be ready and prepared, but do you really believe in that person that's going to go? And so the mindset was no matter who was competing, there was a deep level of belief and faith and confidence that they would hit and do their job. And then when there was a small mistake, the whole concept is next second's more important because you can't change the past. And I feel like that's what the ladies did. I think my message, especially going over to bars, was just you have to keep fighting. And at the end, I pulled them together, and we had a wonderful speaker this year that just said, doesn't have to be easy, just has to be possible. Timothy Alexander, and that has been a mission of ours. And it didn't have to be easy, just had to be possible, and they did that. That was really the mindset.
All right, with that, we're going to go ahead and open it up to questions. Robert?
Coach, could you talk about Lexi? Is she just resting today, or what's going on?
Unfortunately, we tried to do whatever we could. She has a lower leg situation going on, and so we had planned on her being able, she had a few days off prior, and we were hoping that she was going to be able to compete tonight. So we were warming up on beam the first event, and I just had to trust that she could tell me whether she could go or not. And as she was, trying to do it, we decided, okay, we're not going to warm up floor. And then we went over to vault, and she tried to do vault, and it just wasn't happening. So at this point, we are doing what's in her absolute best interest, and I really don't have a lot of details, and I'll find out after the press conference.
All right, Katie?
A quick follow-up on injuries and lineup changes, and then I have another question. Is there an update on Maddie Walagora? Does she have an injury, or was it just the way the lineups fell tonight?
No, following SECs, Maddie had a pretty big tweak of both ankles, and so she just had to have more time built in to being able to recover. And some of the response to her medical care has been a miracle, and so we don't expect to use her tomorrow. At the same time, I'm not ruling anything out at this point.
And then can you just talk about Emily Gaskins tonight, stepping up into all four lineups, competing in all-around for the first time this year, and just some big contributions on all four events?
Absolutely. Emily has been preparing for this. She's been in that number 7 spot on almost all 4 events for, a lot of her season this year. And Emily just has to believe in herself. And obviously she proved to herself today that she's completely capable of being under the bright lights and hitting when needed. And so it's really a joyous moment when you see an athlete train and work through adversity and injuries and soreness and all that and be able to deliver. So very proud of her for stepping in the all around, and also for Shallon stepping in on beam and floor when we didn't know if that was going to be the case, and both of them really delivering outstanding performances. And, Shallon beat herself up after vault because she knows she's capable of more, but the lucky thing is we get to try tomorrow.
Mikey?
Yes. So, Coach, question is, obviously you had 2 perfect 10s today with Louisa on the beam and Makari on the bars. And so how does it feel from the coach's perspective to go from years without having a perfect 10 to having 2 on the same day?
How do you describe that emotion? Just excited for them. They have worked so hard. They have trained this way. And I think I heard our ladies share that, we've seen them do 10-0 routines and practice over and over again. And so for it to translate into a competition today and at the regional championship, that's pretty awesome. So now the key is that you have to just stay in the moment tomorrow. And, when you have scored a 10, you have to stay involved in the process. Don't try to score 10, if that makes any sense. So I just hope that they just embrace this moment, celebrate it, and then focus on the details tomorrow.
Katie?
After some struggles on vault and some lineup changes, how important was it for your team to finish strong on bars heading into tomorrow?
It is crucial. Katie, had we not done our job on bars, we would not be, going into tomorrow. And, I was proud of us to start strong on beam. And, we wavered a little bit on floor and definitely didn't have the vault performance we had 2 weeks ago and had to use some different athletes. So we just put it all out there. And it was extremely crucial to hit on bars. I would say we warmed up really well, so I was very confident that if they just did what they do every day, we'd be in a good position, and they exceeded expectations on bars tonight.
Robert, go ahead.
Coach, I brought up to the players that today you guys wore the leotards to remember the 2011 tornadoes. How important is it to just remember that and keep that in the memory and to not let those people be forgotten?
When you look at the staples of our program, we are trying to build champions in the classroom, on the arena floor, and in the community. And, I was here on April 27, 2011, and I watched the tornadoes that took place a couple weeks ago. And we know what that feels like. And people's lives were affected and changed and lost. And I just think it's very important for us to always keep perspective that we get to do this. We don't have to do this. So if we get to do this, let's have a greater purpose of what we're doing it for, and to be able to wear our tied together leotard, the tradition of the houndstooth, and just that as a community, Tuscaloosa is stronger together. As a team, we were better together. And it takes all of us to make our community and our, world better. And we just have to continue to work on those things so that, we don't lose sight of what's important.
Tess, go ahead.
Coach, you mentioned the importance of keeping a focus on the details going into tomorrow's competition. What are some of those tiny details you may remind your athletes of before they compete tomorrow?
Well, I think it goes back to what we've been saying all along. It's being present in the moment, not worrying about what's next or what happened just a moment ago. It's just being where your feet are and being in that moment. I think it's the attention to the looks and the details of the hands and all the little artistry pieces that just make your team stand out. And I think that those things can't get lost when you start to get maybe a little nervous. As a matter of fact, I encourage the girls, when they start to get nervous, make those elements bigger, because those small things become big things. And it settles you down. And then, of course, I love a smile, because I think a smile brings your endorphins down. And sometimes the girls get up here, and it brings you back down. So, it's being present, it's being confident, and it's doing the small details and in the moment.
All right, anything else? All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Roll Tide.